Hi guys, Relaxed Recaps here. In today's video, we're going to do a recap of the latest 2022 Netflix crime thriller movie, The Weekend Away. We are going to follow a woman whose best friend went missing on a trip to Croatia. As she found her friend dead, clues revealed some disturbing backstories behind the murder. Now just sit back, relax, and enjoy. The movie starts with a woman, Beth, coming to Croatia for the first time. She can be seen enjoying the city view while heading from the airport to her destination. There, the taxi driver Zane strikes up a conversation, and the two become friends. They reach the destination, and Zane informs Beth that she doesn't have to pay, as it's already been taken care of, so Zane gives his card to her and leaves from there. Now, Beth excitedly meets her best friend Kate, who has sponsored this entire trip. Beth has come to Croatia just for the weekend, and they'll be staying in an Airbnb deluxe. Beth takes a little tour of their apartment and gives Kate a necklace she bought for her. Kate says thank you, and the scene ends there. At night, Beth talks to her husband Rob and their newborn baby Aster over video call. Now, the two friends wear pretty dresses and leave for a party. On their way out, they meet the property owner Sebastian. Before going to the club, the two stop at a restaurant for some food. Kate plans on spending a lot of money as she still has her husband's credit card. Actually, Kate and her husband Jay are going through a divorce, and Kate will be getting a lot of money from him. That's why she can sponsor the entire trip. While talking, Beth reveals that things have not been going perfectly well with Rob. Kate advises her to get a divorce as she did, but Beth refuses and says she still loves him. Then Kate pays the bill, and the two leave with Zane to go to the bar. Inside the bar, they meet two playboys, Matteo and Luca. Kate advises Beth to go home with one of them, but she says she's married and won't cheat on her husband. Matteo and Luca buy drinks for them, but suddenly, Beth starts hallucinating and wakes up in their Airbnb. She drank too much last night and throws up in the toilet. Then she comes out and calls for Kate, but she's nowhere to be found. She finds broken glass and some blood on the floor, so she gets suspicious. She calls Kate's number, but her phone was switched off. Now she informs Rob about the situation, but he tells her to not worry as Kate is very spontaneous. Beth then talks to Sebastian if he had seen Kate, but he says no. With no other option left, she goes to file a missing report. There she meets an officer for tourist affairs, Pavic, who asks her some questions. A senior officer tries to get involved in the case, but Pavic says he can handle it. He tells Beth that they can't file a missing report for 24 hours. Beth finds Pavic a little odd and leaves from there. Then she calls Zane and asks him about the bar's name he dropped them off to last night. Zane says the bar was the Blue Parlor and asks if anything is wrong. Beth reveals that Kate went missing, so Zane helps her find out about the two guys. They visit the bar, and the bar owner informs them that the two guys are actually escorts, and tourists often hire them, so it's highly likely that Kate hired them. Beth finds Matteo and Luca on Instagram, so she sets up a trap with Zane. As soon as the guys see Beth, they start running and Zane runs after them. Zane catches up to Matteo and forces him to reveal information about Kate. He says that Kate hired them for one night, but after 3 a.m., they stole her luxury bag and sold it to a pawn shop. Beth and Zane visit the pawn shop and take Kate's handbag and cell phone as they were stolen items. Now, they go to update all of this to the police. Before Beth can meet the police, Zane asks her to keep his role a secret, as his visa can be revoked if he's caught in any suspicious activity. Beth agrees and shows the handbag plus the cell phone to the police. This time, the senior officer Kovac is also in the office and listens to Beth. She asks Beth questions about Kate, but she says she's already given all the details to Pavic. Turns out, Pavic didn't file a report and didn't even record any complaints. Kovac assures her, and the scene ends there. Now, Beth talks to Kate's divorced husband Jay, and he says all of this is a farce from Kate. Beth then goes home and sees Sebastian packing their things as the checkout time is over. She starts to leave with her bag, but Sebastian offers her a spare room at a discount. She reluctantly settles in the room and falls asleep. After waking up, she goes out for dinner but meets Rob there. Rob says he was trying to call her all day, so he came looking for her. Rob comforts her, and Beth receives a call from Kovac. The police have found Kate's dead body, and Beth burst into tears seeing her best friend dead. The doctor explains that they have to wait for the autopsy results to find out whether it was a murder or an accident. Later, Beth learns from Pavic that it was a murder, as Kate also suffered a head wound. She asks to see her body, as she wants to say a proper goodbye, but sneakily uses her Face ID to open her cell phone. With Kate's cell phone, she learns that Rob and Kate actually had an affair, and Rob was constantly trying to reach out to her. She confronts Jay about it as he already knew, but Jay says he didn't want to ruin her relationship with with Rob. Plus, she was having a baby, so she thought it would be a bad time to reveal the truth. Now, Kate meets Zane for dinner. The two comfort each other, and Zane opens up about his life. He had a wife who looked just like Beth, but she passed away in a bombing at her clinic. Then, at night, Beth calls Rob and reveals that she found out about his affair. Rob feels guilty and apologizes and asks Beth to come back home so they can talk in person. But Beth says that she can't as the police have taken her passport because she's a suspect in Kate's murder. The following morning, Kovac and Pavic storm Beth's place and arrest her on the suspicion of Kate's murder. They actually saw Beth meeting with Zane, and Zane is part of an Albanian gang that commits organized crimes. Beth is in disbelief, but Pavic insists that Zane is indeed the murderer and that she hired him to do it. Beth argues and asks to get a lawyer. She hires a lawyer who tells her not to reveal anything to the police without her permission. Then, Beth comes home and starts sobbing in front of her mirror. But to her surprise, Zane is sitting behind her in the room. Zane argues that he's innocent and that the police only want to blame him to revoke his visa. After Zane leaves, Beth notices something in her table mirror. She finds a hidden camera, and she goes to confront Sebastian. She bumps into Sebastian and gets scared, so she makes an excuse for being hungry. Sebastian says he's going outside for a screening of a movie, so Beth decides to investigate his apartment. She finds a recording studio with many computers, and Sebastian used them to stalk his guests. Beth then pulls up the recording of the day when Matteo and Luca came home. She sees that at 3 a.m. they stole her handbag and cell phone and ran away. Kate tried to follow them but came back empty-handed in a black car. Meanwhile, Sebastian has returned to get something but is shocked that Beth found out about his secret. He starts to argue that it's for security reasons and starts deleting all the recordings. But Beth stops him from doing so and accidentally hits him. She runs outside and leaves with Zane in the car. They interrogate the taxi driver who picked up Kate that day and find out that he took her to the police station. Suddenly, several police cars arrive there, and Beth realizes that one of the cars is the same one that dropped Kate home. They start running away from the police, and Beth explains to Zane that she saw the police car drop Kate off at home in the security cameras. They figure out that it was Pavic who dropped her off, and that he didn't file the missing report. Then the police catch up to them, and Zane sacrifices himself so Beth can run away, but Pavic finds Beth and starts chasing her. They get cornered on a rooftop, and Beth calls him a murderer. Amid their quarrel, Pavic slips on a stone and falls from the roof. He dies immediately on the stop. Later, Kovac apologizes to Beth and says that Pavic indeed hit on Kate, and when she rejected him, he killed her. He hit her on the back of her head and left her drowning in the water while she was still alive. Beth is devastated by the incident and learns that Pavic has previous accusations of assaulting women. Moreover, Kovac explains that they found drugs in Matteo and Luca's apartment, and it's their plan to use the drugs so they can rob women. Lastly, Kovac gives Beth her passport back, and she leaves the station. Outside, she meets Zane and hugs him. The two share an emotional moment before Beth returns to her place. She takes Aster with her and goes to their home. A gap in connection is evident between them due to Rob's affair. Beth cannot forgive him as the betrayal was too big. After that, she goes to find the car keys, but finds a piece of Kate's necklace in Rob's coat. She completely breaks down seeing it. She makes an excuse to use the bathroom and immediately calls Kovac. She cries on the phone while telling her that it was Rob who killed Kate and not Pavic. She comes out and decides to confront Rob about the incident. She asks why did he kill her, and Rob denies the allegation. She shows him the necklace piece, and Rob is forced to confess. He says it was an accident and explains everything. He flew over to Croatia on Friday night to talk about their affair as Kate wasn't responding to texts. When the two got to the seaside, Kate said that she wants to tell everything to Beth, so the two started arguing and Kate slapped him. This made him angry and he accidentally pushed her. Kate's head hit the ground and she fell into the water. Not knowing what to do, he left her stranded in the water. Then, Rob begs to keep this all a secret, but Beth wants him to be punished. She hits him in the soft spot and picks up Aster to storm out of the place. As she walks away from the home, police reach their home and arrest Rob. And with that, the movie ends. That was it for today, guys. We hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to Relaxed Recaps for more content like this. Feel free to hit the like button to help us out and leave a comment with your favorite movies. Until next time.